Hello and welcome to Balanced Existence. Today I am coming on with a general collective oracle and tarot reading. So I trust that if you're coming across this video and you clicked in, that there is a message here for you. The first oracle cards I've pulled is gentleness and awareness. So of course you're being called to practice this gentle awareness, and I'm going to get more information on this, but with the gentleness card, I'm also picking up on, as we've come out of this chaotic month of February, and of course, whenever you're listening to this, this is a timeless reading, but as I'm recording this, we're coming off of an eclipse period, and there is this call for gentleness, for slowing down, for a kind of calming of our internal and maybe even external energies, how we navigate through life, both in our internal world, our inner world, as well as how we take action in our external world. And with the awareness card, this isn't just a day-to-day mindfulness awareness, which is of course very helpful and a great practice, but I'm channeling into this need for awareness as it relates to some hugely significant pattern. I'm hearing like a karmic lesson or some pattern of your thoughts or behaviors or beliefs. Ultimately, it comes down to your beliefs, which then result in the thoughts and then the actions. But there's some pattern that you are being called to. I'm hearing like the awareness will kind of creep up on you or sneak up on you, but not even in a difficult or malicious way, but in a way where it's like slowly but surely you're starting to objectively see where you stand and what your pattern is. And so as we kind of release this control or release this idea that we know exactly how we are and how we are perceived in the world, instead to kind of loosen the reins and, again, with that gentleness, have a more gentle approach towards life, which allows us to then open our hearts, open our minds, so that we can actually see truthfully our patterns and, how our actions and thoughts and beliefs are impacting us on an external level in terms of what we're able to manifest or what we're resisting or blocking from being manifested, as well as how it's contributing to the cycles of inner turmoil I'm hearing. So, and I think that the term creeping up or sneaking up came through because there's this sense of like a veil being lifted, right? And so you don't maybe understand. I'm picking up on like Neptune energy, so if that's significant for you in terms of your birth chart or a transit that's happening as you're listening to this, that might resonate. But it's this idea of this fogginess that it doesn't mean it's malicious or dangerous or harmful, but it is this kind of like uncertainty that may keep us in what feels to be stagnant or what feels to be some kind of holding period before we're able to actually address the patterns and heal and move forward. So all this to say that as we're slowly having this more gentle approach towards life, at the same time and as a result, we are able to lift that veil and clear the fog. So I want to channel more into what is trying to come through to us. So I'm going to pull an oracle card. We have be true to your heart and open your heart. Okay, so yeah, through this act of committing, because this is ultimately comes down to a choice and an intention rather than any kind of skill or you being ready or not, which a lot of the times we say in life, like things happen in the right timing, or I wasn't meant to learn that lesson at that time, or I wasn't ready to learn that lesson at that time. And while the concept of divine timing is very much true, and that's very much a factor, in this case, I'm hearing from your angels and spirit guides that you are ultimately ready to address this pattern, or perhaps multiple patterns, which I am going to pull more specifics on to channel more into that, but you are ready for this. And so it's simply a matter of choice, where you are open and willing to be shown where you may have had blind spots, or where you've had repetitive looping karmic cycles or patterns that you are ready to resolve, to cleanse. I'm hearing detox. So there may be an aspect of self-care that is at the root and the foundation of the healing of these patterns. So with these oracle cards, be true to your heart and open your heart, it's so evident through the spread that through the gentleness that you are incorporating and embodying more into your life and into your body, you, by that nature, by that effect, are able to open your heart and know your heart so that you can be true to it. And through this heart work, you are understanding that the truth of the world is love. The truth of nature is love. The truth of your environment is love. And so love is interwoven energetically through all things that you experience, all places that you exist in, all ways of being. And so there's this opportunity for you to receive more love and abundance if you simply choose to open yourself to it. And so there, again, is this sense of perception, where through your choice of perceiving the world in a certain way, and that is of the way where we see love in everything we do, you now have the strength to resolve these patterns, to endure hardships or difficult, uncomfortable moments through this healing process. And you know that the world and nature, the earth, will always be there to nurture and hold you, because that's the source of love. That's where you always have the opportunity to receive love from. Now, with the Be True to Your Heart card, there's a message about leaning into and moving towards harmony and union. So it's best that you utilize your intuition, because your intuition will allow yourself to address and navigate these situations or these patterns from a higher perspective, a higher frequency, one of love, compassion, understanding. And your intuition is much more powerful than your mind or the intellect of your mind. And so it's important for you to have this intuitive awareness of what interests you. Where does your attention naturally flow towards when you're feeling good? Because that's what the universe, divine source energy, your angels, your spirit guides are hoping that you will follow that trail of attention. So if you find yourself feeling especially imaginative or creative, it's important to understand what it is that brought you to that point, because that is a key hint as to what your heart is trying to lead you towards. And a lot of this will be an intuitive feeling rather than any kind of logical or rational, intellectual realization. And so it's important to recognize that your intuition is very personal. It's only something that you can experience. So this is completely separate and independent of what others might think, or again, what your rational or egoic mind might think. And another thing that's important on this topic is the ability to be true to our heart and achieve that harmony with others in a way where we don't have to self-sacrifice or overgive in order to get there, especially for those who may have felt like you've had people pleaser tendencies. That might be your karmic pattern. It's important that this is not about just achieving harmony for the sake of peace and union, but this is about you and your heart having the highest journey that it can have in this lifetime. And so having that awareness, like our initial oracle card came out, is what's going to allow you to know what it even means to be true to your heart. So I want to shuffle the tarot cards and see what other messages might come through about these karmic patterns. So we have the Two of Wands and the Page of Wands starting us off. So this is confirming that whatever's going to bring you passion, to follow that. And the Two of Wands is, of course, in the very beginning stages. This is right when you have received that first seed, if that's kind of what the Ace of Wands is representing. And the Two of Wands is now that decision point where you're looking into the horizon and you're determining what the future holds and what direction exactly you want to take. And you know that there's a lot of work to be done. But of course, with the Two of Wands, there is a message of duality. So balancing two sides, maybe this is the balance of your inner masculine and feminine, the internal balance that clears the way for us to know what our heart wants, as well as the literal balance that we must seek and achieve as we're pursuing certain passions. For example, work-life balance, things like this. So take it as it resonates, but that followed by the Page of Wands is, again, all about, what we are pursuing, what passions we are following. And so it's important for you to, when you have even just the most subtle internal intuitive message about about some idea of what might bring you joy, what might be a way for you to exercise your creative and imaginative abilities. This is what's going to bring you closer with knowing yourself, closer with your spirituality. We also have the Temperance, which is definitely also bringing up those themes of balance and the sense of unity and harmony, as well as patience and, the movement and the flow with life, the movement and the flow of feelings, both within yourself as well as between others in your life. And we also have the Star card coming out. So whatever this is, I'm picking up on such a bright, optimistic future. So if you're receiving this message, just know that this is an incredibly optimistic and beautiful period that's coming up for you. You truly are going through a heart awakening, and the Star is here to confirm to you that, through thick and thin, through difficulties and hardships, you always know that you have an internal source of hope, optimism, inspiration, and guidance. You have your spirit guides, you have angels, you have the universe, the divine source energy that is always working with your energy and in response to your energy. So when you have that feeling of encouragement and that drive and desire to pursue your dreams and your goals, you will have the universe on your side and supporting you in that endeavor. We're also getting the Four of Wands. So definitely, again, just this confirmation that this journey that you're on, this heart awakening that you're on, is going to lead to stability, with the number 4 on the Four of Wands representing stability, as well as recognition, celebration. This could be marriage, whatever it is that you are desiring, that you may have had karmic patterns subconsciously telling you that you're not worthy or you're not capable of achieving this dream life that you wish for, whether it's your career or what your friendships would look like or your love life. or your spirituality. Maybe you feel like there's just so far to go and you'll never reach that highest or higher version of self that you desire to be at. And the message here is that really try to cleanse out those old limiting beliefs, because they can operate at such a subtle subconscious level. And we want to have that awareness in the most gentle way, of course, to catch them, and then of course alchemize them into that hope and success that the Star and the Four of Wands bring. So let's see what else I can pull here. We have the Lovers, the Five of Wands, the World, and the Three of Pentacles. So with the Lovers and the Five of Wands, for sure there may be some aspect of your love life or romantic life, but also this concept of making a choice or feeling like your love interest needs to make a choice. Maybe you feel like there's some line that hasn't been crossed yet. Maybe this is like the line of commitment or the line of moving a certain relationship to the next level of seriousness, of dedication. And the Five of Wands being this kind of struggle, a lot of it being an egoic struggle of differences that it really takes secure and healthy communication to be able to resolve. And with the World card coming out, I'm picking up on this end of this chapter. So for many of this collective, this may relate to your love life. This could be a twin flame journey, of course, where you are having these endless, seemingly endless cycles of separation and union, and it's never reached that point where you have this sense of security and stability. And so subconsciously you've built up this belief that you won't be able to achieve it, without knowing that that's blocking and sabotaging you, because it's serving as this resistance towards what you dream of. And so with the Lovers and the Five of Wands, there may be conflicts that you are either replaying over and over in your head, or that you've just endured and experienced so many of the same type of conflict that it's like an autopilot default automatic response that your brain operates in that way. It's like a survival mode or some kind of anxious attachment. And so with the World card coming through, it's saying no more. And, we just got the Star and the Four of Wands when we were speaking on following your passions. And so, I never really like to speak on predictions as it relates to your external world, not only because this is a collective reading that may resonate differently for different people, but more so because I feel that it feeds the ego when we focus on the external person or the external situation. And so with the Lovers, Five of Wands, and the World, the message here is not about anything that involves this external person. This is about you and the choices that you make and the patterns that you have in your mind and in your beliefs and in your emotions even, because a lot of these are biological responses. Like if you're anxious attached, and your body, without you even giving permission, will enter this survival mode of feeling like the abandonment, fear, and feeling unsafe. So the World is here to confirm that this is the end of that, but it's in your power. So going back to the original oracle cards, this is about your gentleness and awareness and following your heart so that you can make the right choice with the Lovers, and that you can end these cycles with the World. You can end these egoic conflicts, whether they're external as well as the internal ones with the Five of Wands. These egoic, I'm hearing the word petty, but it's not always that simple as being petty. A lot of this is just patterns that have built up, and to somebody who is secure or mature or doesn't have that, it's not even really about maturity, but it's somebody who doesn't have that history of trauma. They may find the way that these Five of Wands kind of egoic thought pathways the way that those operate, they may see them to be childish or immature, but it's really not even about that. This is just about survival and safety and your body's way of keeping you safe. And that's why attachment styles have developed, because if you didn't feel safe, if you didn't receive the love you needed earlier in life, then there's going to be ways in which your ego will take control and create stories to help keep you safe. And so again, the world is coming in to end these patterns. So with the Three of Pentacles, this is of course about collaboration with others. So you may be focusing on certain friendships that you're able to work on a common project with, or this could also be coworkers. This could be romantic people as well, but the overarching theme with the Three of Pentacles, with it being the earthly sign of the pentacles and of the material realm, is it usually involves some kind of work or project or goal that you are trying to achieve at the material 3D physical level. And the important part is that it does require some kind of collaboration, some kind of teamwork. And while you may just be in the beginning of this, again, we started with the tarot cards with the Two of Wands, and now we have the Three of Pentacles. These are very early on in that journey from Ace to 10, right? So the Three of Pentacles is speaking to that, the fact that some work has been done, right? Like you have the skills to get yourself to this awareness that you need. And now that you have this awareness, you can recognize with full clarity exactly what it is that needs to change. And for many of this collective, that will ask you to consider who it is that you're surrounding yourself with. And so that's why the message of friendships, coworkers, may be something that's more relevant to your love life than you initially thought that it was. So let's see if we can pull any other oracle cards to finish off this reading, or any other messages that want to come through. Yeah, we have the contemplation card coming flying out. So exactly, as we're ending with this Three of Pentacles contemplation card, you are being called to think about where you're at. Again, having that awareness and opening your heart, you now have this beautiful, clear, veil lifted, fog cleared. You have this clear foundation for you to kind of reorganize and reconsider your life, the things that you enjoy in your life, the things that you make a priority. So you're being called to really slow down, allow yourself to ruminate, allow your thoughts to wander, really consider and open up to what your inner voice is trying to tell you. Give yourself that opportunity to grow and evolve and cleanse these patterns through the guidance of your intuition and your inner voice. So I'm going to leave this reading here. I hope that this resonated with you. I would love to hear from you in the comments if there's anything you'd like me to channel more into, or any specific topics or readings that you would like, or just if anything resonated with you. I would love to hear from you. Every like and subscribe means so much to me, especially as we're just beginning to form this collective. So thank you again for being here. I so enjoy doing these tarot readings for you, and I hope that you got something of value of it. And I thank you so much for listening, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye.